Why did I ignore my instincts for years? And how do I protect my kids from the truth about their grandmother? My mother-in-law was standing in my kitchen holding my daughter's passport when I walked through the back door. She didn't hear me come in. I watched her slip it into her purse, then smooth down her blouse like nothing happened. My wife was upstairs putting our son to bed. My hands were shaking as I stepped into the light. Denise looked up and froze for half a second before her face rearranged itself into that warm grandmother smile she wore like a mask. Denise had always been off. Little things at first. She'd show up unannounced and rearrange our furniture while we were at work. She'd correct how my wife dressed our kids in front of other parents at birthday parties. She once told my 4-year-old daughter that mommy and daddy might not stay together forever because that's just how life works. When I confronted her about it, she laughed and said I was too sensitive. My wife always defended her. She's just old-fashioned. She means well. She doesn't know any better. But I knew something was deeply wrong with this woman. 3 months ago, Denise started pushing hard for alone time with the kids. She wanted to take them to her cabin upstate for a week. Just her. No parents allowed. She said it would be good for their independence and help them build character away from screens. My wife thought it was sweet. I said absolutely not. Denise didn't argue or throw a fit. She just smiled that unsettling smile and said I'd come around eventually. That smile haunted me for weeks afterward. There was something behind her eyes that felt calculated. 2 weeks later, I found a manila folder in her car when I was helping her unload groceries after a family dinner. Inside were printed custody laws for grandparents in our state. Highlighted sections explained how grandparents can petition for visitation rights if they can prove the parents are unfit or if they can demonstrate an existing significant relationship with the children. My blood went cold reading those yellow highlighted passages. I photographed every single page with my phone before putting the folder back exactly where I found it. When I showed my wife the photos that night, she went pale, but she still made excuses. Maybe it's research for her friend Linda, whose daughter is going through a messy divorce. I wanted to believe her. I really did. Then came the anonymous call to Child Protective Services. A concerned citizen reported that our children looked malnourished and showed signs of severe neglect. The caseworker showed up on a Thursday morning while I was getting the kids ready for school. She walked through our entire house with a clipboard, checked our fully stocked fridge, inspected the bedrooms, and asked my son privately if he felt safe at home. He said yes, and looked confused by the question. She apologized for the inconvenience and left after 30 minutes. I called the CPS office that afternoon and asked if they could tell me anything about where the complaint originated. The woman on the phone paused for a long moment. Sir, I'm not supposed to share this, but the call came from a landline registered to a Denise Whitmore. I hung up and sat in my truck for 20 minutes, just staring at the steering wheel trying to process what my own mother-in-law had done. I told my wife everything that night. The passport I watched her steal, the custody papers hidden in her car, the CPS call she made trying to build a case against us. My wife broke down crying at the kitchen table. She didn't want to believe her own mother would systematically try to take her children away. But the evidence was undeniable and staring us both in the face. That weekend, we changed every lock in the house. We told Denise she wasn't welcome in our home until she got serious psychological help. She didn't yell or cry or beg for forgiveness. She just tilted her head slightly to the side and said, "You'll regret this decision." 4 days later, my wife received a certified letter from a family court attorney. Denise was petitioning for emergency custody of both children, citing immediate danger. The filing claimed we were emotionally abusive parents who used intimidation tactics on our kids. It said we isolated the children from extended family as a form of control. It alleged we both had serious substance abuse issues that endangered the minors. None of it was true, but all of it was documented with screenshots and photos she must have fabricated or manipulated herself. Our lawyer worked around the clock building our defense. He pulled security footage from our doorbell camera that showed Denise entering our home with a key we never gave her. Twice in 1 month. Once at midnight when we were all asleep. The footage clearly showed her going through our medicine cabinet in the master bathroom and taking photos of prescription bottles with her phone. The same bottles that appeared in her court filing as supposed evidence of rampant drug abuse. The judge reviewed everything during the emergency hearing. He studied the doorbell footage frame by frame. He read through her fabricated evidence and compared it to our medical records and clean drug tests. He looked directly at Denise and asked if she had anything to say in her defense. She smiled that grandmother smile one last time and said she just wanted what was best for her precious grandchildren. The judge didn't smile back. He called her actions a calculated campaign of harassment designed to separate children from fit and loving parents. Her petition was denied and thrown out entirely. She was issued a 5-year restraining order prohibiting any contact with our family. My wife hasn't spoken a single word to her mother since that courtroom. Our kids ask about grandma sometimes, and we tell them she's taking a long trip. Someday we'll tell them the truth about the woman who tried to steal them from us.